of measures is always very, very tough, and it's really important that governments don't overreact to people protesting against measures. It has happened since time immemorial. The real important thing to do is enter into a dialogue with groups that feel that they're protesting against measures. We want to live in free societies where protest is facilitated, but we also want those protests to be done safely. We don't want them to increase the risk of disease transmission. But it is really important that the process of reaching that compromise and reaching that safety is done through a process of dialogue. And we try to build relationships across society, not divide society, not to create division, not to create more division. When people protest, it's because they're protesting against something they perceive to be unfair or unjustified. It's really important that we enter into a dialogue with people to explain why these measures are being put in place. And you may not convince everybody. It's the same thing when it comes to vaccination. You may not convince everyone to be vaccinated, but it's really important that we're not imposing will upon people. But at the same time, we're cognizant of the fact that these protests, and Maria spoke to it earlier, gatherings can occur and they can be made to be safe. And we should not be shutting down protests. We should not be shutting down the right to dissent. But we should be trying to make that as safe as possible. And the best way to do that is to create the opportunity for dialogue. And I've done that myself so many times in the field with communities. It takes time, it takes listening, it takes people being reasonable. And what other way is there for our society to progress and evolve unless we're willing to listen to each other and understand that not everyone has the same opinion, and try to find a way as a society to move forward together and not polarize things constantly into opposing camps and opposing forces. This is not healthy for our society. So I would advise governments to try and find a way to initiate and sustain dialogue with all sections of society and listen. One thing that Dr. Tedros has taught us, and certainly taught me, is that you have to listen. You have to open your ears, open your heart, and listen to what people are saying. Because sometimes people are saying things that are important and they need to be listened to. But we try and must try to make such protests as safe as possible. Dr. Tedros may wish to comment, or any of the other people there.